Hi everyone, this is Christina within the garden, and we're going to show you today the chicken coop we made. We're going to show you the exterior here, and then we'll go into the interior and show you some of the details. The coop itself is 12 feet wide and 20 feet long. The run is 16 by 16. And what we did was originally we put in this railroad tie to kind of hold back the rocks, and then our neighbor actually had a willow and the tree bark came from the willow being chopped up. So we kind of spread this around, and then Joe built these stairs coming down to the coop with the railroad ties, which we really liked, and we kind of put those rock borders in here to kind of hold back the difference between the flowers that we put here in the coop. And you can kind of hear the ducks. We have both ducks and chickens in this coop. And all the flowers are either relocated from self-seeding, which all the Shasta daisies are all from our upper garden bed that you might have seen in other videos where we had Shasta daisies grow like crazy. So Joe and I dig these up and we put them here, and they've already started blooming. I don't think it was that long ago. What, like a month ago we put these in? Yeah. Same thing with these bachelor's buttons. They came from over here, and we just kind of put those in. And then there's just some scattering of some plants that we started from seed, like these Cape daisies. So if you come down the stairs, you'll see we put in a grass pad here. This is new sod, and we haven't really cut it yet. It's brand new, so it's really just establishing. And on the outside, you'll see all this. I have a list of 1 by 1 openings, and this goes all the way to the ground. And what we did was we kind of scooped it out a little and then put rocks on top of it, so if something tried to dig into our coop, it would kind of stop them. And then we added some pea gravel and a mat here right in front of the door to just kind of keep the mess out. So this was again, it's PVC coated 1 by 1 welded wire. We thought that would be more hardy as far as things trying to get into our coop. And then you'll notice the pitch of the roof is higher in the front and lower in the back so that it slopes and has a runoff. So for the top, we use Sun Tough corrugated roof panels, and you can see how it's corrugated, and it has the wood that goes in to screw in and mount it to the 2x6s that we have on top. Now we kept all of these at their same color. I can't think of what it's called right now. What is this called? These are pressure treated, but then we painted the tops because we wanted the difference in color. And so you'll see there's a couple colors throughout the coop. There's the normal pressure treated color, there's the colors of the doors, and then the trim work and the coop is gray and white. So if you come around here, there's a Dutch door. We'll show you how that works out and how we use it. But again, here's flowers that we either grew from seed or we planted that were volunteers. And if you come around here, you're going to see the duck pond, which will show you how that works. But just to show you this part, here, we'll turn this on. So this coop has a shower drain to drain the pond, and that allows us to easily drain it, which we do like every other day, and then we refill it because we have 8 ducks, and our ducks use it really frequently. And here's more of that bachelor's button and more Shasta daisies. And there's one of our chickens. This is sunflowers and more bachelor's buttons and some different things down here, zinnias and so forth. And if you come around here, this is where we added the storage on the back. So this is the back side, and each of the doors are green. So you'll notice that it's not green, I'm sorry, it's a teal color. I'm actually gonna grab something out of here. So this is really cool. If you look at this PVC piping, there's 3 outlets for the food. And so the food comes out through there, so that all we have to do is fill this up with food every day. You want to take a look? And let's see. It's probably low, so we can fill it up real quick. And what we also do is we put in this all-in-one herb vitamin. So it's got different herbs in there that poultry need. So we just kind of 2 or 3 scoops, and then we pour the food in. And I'll show you how easy that is. It's pretty easy. Okay. And then you just screw the top back on. All right. Now, other things we have in here is extra food. We have the black fly larvae, and then this goes in the coop, and then these are the nesting pads. So we keep this out here so we have access to it. And then in addition to the food, we have water here. And so the water actually fills on the other side. I'll show you where that's at, but you can see where each of the cups, as they push down and put pressure on it, it keeps refilling the cups. So that makes it to where we don't have to feed them every single day or water them every single day. But in the heat of summer, we will we will fill up the water more often. And then we went ahead and put the pea gravel here because the ducks like to make a huge mess. And even the pea gravel doesn't stop them, so we have this edging and some pea gravel, and hopefully the water mostly drains out, but it's really hard to get them to stay out of the mud. All right, so here's more flowers and some thyme, so it comes all the way around. And some of the things I like the most over here are all of these are solar powered and sensors. So after the sun goes down, if you walk in front of this, the light turns on. You can get these on Amazon. You can also get these these windows on Amazon. They're $75 each, and they're tempered glass, and they have the 1x1 metal mesh inside as well. And so you can shut these if it was like winter, or you can open them if you're looking to add more air to your coop. Okay, some other things we did, you shut this, was each of these is where our nesting boxes are. And right now our chickens are too small to be nesting. They won't nest until August. And here's some nesting herbs that I saved from my flowers and my herbs. So each of these have little nesting pads in them. And then you can come and see we opened one of them so the chickens can come directly into here. And this is vinyl from the floor. And then the nesting pads are in there. Now when the chicken lays the egg in there, you can open in here. You don't have to necessarily open here, but you can open in here. And if you see, this is some green AstroTurf. We actually have AstroTurf in the coop, which I'll show you in a minute. But it's at an angle. So at the angle that the egg is laid, the egg will roll out and then be a soft landing here. So you might see that this bumps out separately from the nesting boxes. So we have, is it 8 nesting boxes? 6 nesting boxes. We'll reopen these. And we did the pressure treated lumber again on the bottom for where the water is. And then we planted this dogwood, which is already out of bloom, but that's new as well. And all of the lights are from Amazon, and they're all solar paneled. So here we put the smaller lights because we couldn't mount the larger lights above this. There just wasn't enough space. So these are our big doors for the coop. Let me show you what it looks like. And the ducks just ripped up this nesting pad. They're not ready for nesting yet. They can't be responsible. So each of these 6 openings has a door like this, and it just slides right down in there. And then as we get more chickens, which we will in a couple weeks, when they become a mature age and they're gonna lay eggs, we would open up all of these for them to be able to use. But my understanding, I think we're gonna have 19 or 20 chickens, so they could probably get away with 3 or 4. Look at, there's a chicken. They could probably get away with 3 or 4. They probably don't need 6, but the spacing allowed for 6, so we went ahead and built it out. And as you can see, when you looked in it, I just used the other one for storage. So the chickens come in at night and they roost on these bars. And you can see we've got linoleum we put here, just a linoleum sheet. And we carried that linoleum up and into our nesting boxes so that it was cleaner and we could clean it out faster. So you're gonna see the rungs up there for them to roost at night. And then there's a roosting bar right there, so we can make sure when they're little chickens that they can jump in. So let me step back so you can take a look. And we're just using, this is pine shavings, and the ducks actually sleep on the bottom while the chickens roost on the top. Now, if you're thinking, how do you clean this? Well, we left an opening lip on the far right side so that we can scrape out the top and then scrape all the way out. And since we built this, we've already done that once. And then I just hung this here, but really it could go on this side or anywhere, or you can put it back because they're really not ready to nest yet, I don't think, do you? So looking at the exterior again, we put in a couple pine trees so that this would create shade in the future. That's a weeping Alaskan. This one's a Pacific blue pine. And I like all of the garden aspect that we added to this. Now, all of this is on drip irrigation, and then Joe ran, let me show you this. So we put these flower baskets here, and then you can see right here, if you can see where I'm touching, this is actually water ran right into the basket, so you're not having to water feed those. And that's really nice, and then it just drips right down on the Shasta daisies, so I mean, it makes it very handy. And then we had 3 baskets we hung all the way around. Now, 2 things I didn't mention when I was over here. So this Dutch door unclips, it was already unclipped, and it opens. And what I like to do is I'm gonna come over here. This is my herb garden, so this has basil and thyme, and of course, bachelor's button because it's super crazy and gets into everything. There's mint and sage. So what I like to do is I just come over here every day and I grab a handful and I open the door. And then what I do is I just cut little slices of it, and they actually just come and eat it. Do you want to help me? Thank you. That's for Mommy. Video real quick. Look at Daddy. He's videoing. Say hi. So we just opened up the Dutch door, and I keep it open, and like I said, I just like to throw things in there and feed them often. But let's look at this. So we have 2 water spigots that run out here, and the hose would run right out here, and this is a quick disconnect. We're using hose link hoses, and this is their direct watering. So normally this would be used to direct water a plant. Instead, my husband installed this PVC pipe so we can quickly fill the duck pond. And so what would happen is the hose would come over here, I would attach it, I'd turn it on, and it actually sits in an automatic state, and then it just fills it up. Now the duck pond, we actually have it at a slant on purpose so that when it drains out, if you notice, it goes this way, and it's gonna drain out to the drain itself. And then we actually grab this after it's draining, and we just stick it in there, and we just point and direct the water to rinse it out, okay? Now this is probably, when did we rinse this out? This is probably a day or 2 days worth of dirt. So washing this every other day is really handy. But let's go in and show you the coop. Above the door, we have another one of these motion detected lights, and they're solar lights. And then we have these black latching panels, which are really nice. And then you'll notice each of the latches has a carabiner so that animals like raccoons cannot pull this release up and get into the coop. So let's go in there. They're gonna be really quacky and loud. And Rosie is always watching. So this is the duck pond, and we put AstroTurf specifically down. It's not super level, but it's as level as we could get it. And this is a 4 by 16? And the idea here was to prevent the duck pond, when they splash around, from being completely muddy all day, every day. And so we hose off the bricks, we drain out the duck pond, and then we put on the floor the hemp that goes into a lot of, actually a lot of coops get hemp. We do the pine in there and the hemp out here. And we did the hemp out here for a couple of reasons. It allows them to still get the dirt, so the chickens are gonna do their dirt baths, but it also prevents the ducks from making a muddy mess all the time. And then we of course had the ramp that came down, and then Joe actually located this from another neighbor's tree, and it's just a roosting bar for them to have out here. And let me show you, these are called picnic tables, and we just put treats for them. Over here is our bucket of soldier fly larvae, and the ducks, they know. And you got to do two because the chickens never get a chance. So I always put like the second one there for the chickens. But do you see how the chicken gets up on there every once in a while? Now, we did have 4 chickens. We bought 3 females. One ended up being a rooster. So we now have 3 females, and our rooster lives at Larry's house. And we're getting 15 more chickens in 2 weeks. So the ducks we have, the 2 white ones are what's called the duckling mix. So we think those are Peking ducks, but if you notice, this duck has an orange, more deep orange bill, while the other one has a lighter bill, and she's had it the whole time. So it's not that she's sick or anything like that. These gray ones are the Swedish blue ducks. The black one is a cayuga, and then these brown ones on the outside are female mallards. And then as far as the chickens go, this redder colored one is a New Hampshire red, and those are leghorns over there in the back. Now we did put this swing, nobody's used it yet. I wonder if we put it up higher if they'll use it, but no one's used this yet, and it's there. And then if you come over here, I'll show you how the water and food work again. So the food comes down in here. And like I said, it's self-feeding, so they can eat as often as they want. They have 3. And then there's the water. And then you can kind of see the flower beds on the back end. Now look how the water goes all the way over. And I forgot to show you how to fill that up, so I'll show you that in a minute. And then the ducks really just make a mess. Ducks are kind of like pigs that way. They're very messy animals. So if you get ducks, chickens are cleaner than ducks. They're easier. They put themselves away. And ducks in general will not go, they'll come down the ramp at night, but they won't go back up the ramp. So my husband Joe comes up here and he puts them into the chicken coop. And then this is the chicken guard automatic door. It's powered by solar, so it actually goes up and over, and the solar panel's on the other side. And then we just use, this is house grade siding from what I remember, and it comes in a cream color and we painted it, and this is house grade. I think it is this the Hardy board, Joe? No, I don't think it is. But we got it at Home Depot, and this worked out really well. This coop we really love. I really like the colors, and we had to paint everything because it kind of comes in a cream color. And then these are, again, the treated boards underneath. Let me think. So what we like to keep, how we keep the coop clean is we have this broom. And then, like I said, we feed the chickens on the AstroTurf. So the most cleaning we do is either we sweep this off when the chickens naturally kick it back, or we use a pressure washer and we sprayed it out, or the hose. So this coop stays pretty clean, I want to say. The dirtiest parts, I would tell you, is that the chickens like to get on here and poop a lot, and the ducks like to poop over here. So if we're able to wash those 2 off, that typically keeps it clean. And then we did rake out this hemp a few weeks ago, just one time, and we've had this coop for a couple months now. But we keep this broom in here, and it's made out of coconuts. And so that's pretty cool, and it's easy to rinse off. And then we do keep this here, the soldier fly larvae, and we just give them snacks anytime we think about it, and we keep that on stock. And then I haven't put anything in this bucket, but we maintain that in the coop. So how you get out. So this is our clever way to get out. If you were to come in the coop and you didn't have this, you'd be stuck in here. So here we've got the paracord and a washer, and that just prevents it from falling through the hole. There's a little loop, and what you're gonna do is you just pull it up, it releases, and then you go out. If you're in here, it's real easy. You just clip it shut, and then the carabiner would prevent any animal from getting in and out. I would say that this is probably, we looked online at a lot of coops, but this is probably the closest to what I imagined that I wanted. And Joe and I went off of ideas, and then we built it ourselves. We do not have any plans for this coop, meaning we don't have like blueprints or design or anything. We just went off of what we wanted and some of the things we saw. But if you're interested in information or measurements or material, just let us know, and we're happy to share with you what we know about it. We're gonna come out here and we're gonna show you where the water is. So we're gonna go ahead and put this back on. I did try to pick a carabiner color that wasn't so flashy in the front. I did have a black one, but we lost it. And each of the doors have these really nice black handles, so I really like those. So all the fixtures we kept black, and then we just kept, you know, the same cohesive color between the wood look, black, gray, white, and the teal, which teal is my favorite color. I had a couple friends lost to ovarian cancer, and so teal is their color for that. This is where the PVC pipe comes up on the other side, and I just dragged the hose over here. This lavender actually has water to it as well, just like the hanging baskets, but you can water that when you're over here. And then if you want to come look, it's actually empty right now, so we can fill it up. So let's do that. Something we have over here is that this rock we've had here since we bought the house, and it ended up working out because it's like a figure of where this stairway starts, but also we have these hose links everywhere. So this one's not connected to water directly. We just run it from the hose link on the garage here, and then we have water down here and didn't have to run the water pipes down here. And then we moved our fire pit here to kind of overlook the vineyard and the garden, which we absolutely love. So what we find ourselves doing is just coming out here in the mornings or in the evenings and enjoying our time. And then you can just take this water, and if you run it over here, it's real easy. You just fill it up. And I want to say you probably have to do this once a day right now with the amount of ducks and chickens we have, but normally before it got so hot, we weren't doing this, but what, once a week maybe? Yeah, so either it's evaporating or they're drinking a lot, or their ducks in general like to play in water, so they're probably playing in it a lot. Okay. And then we tried to reuse a lot of the landscaping material we had that wasn't needed to be purchased. So for example, this log came from one of the neighbor's trees. We already had these stones for our retaining wall. We took stones out of the dirt to make the ring here. Like I said, this bark is from a neighbor's tree that was chopped up. The Shasta daisies and a lot of the flowers, the cosmos, the bachelor's button, we just tried to use what we already had since the coop itself was a little above and beyond. We did purchase these railroad ties, but typically we have a lot of railroad ties in our yard. But we tried to keep the Pacific Northwest aesthetic with kind of natural looking things and evergreen trees and flowers that are super native and do well and are drought tolerant. So that is kind of a tour of our chicken coop. I hope you like it. It's at the back of our lot. We're on 1 acre, and we garden in really 3 areas. One right over here to the left of me, and it's what we call our shop garden in a lot of our videos. And it's just now maturing quite a bit. And then we also garden up by the house in our 4 raised beds. And then you'll notice that I actually started gardening at my friend Larry's, in addition to that for a lot of vining crops like watermelon, cantaloupe, pumpkins. So anyway, come take a look at the ducks and we'll wrap up. They love to swim. And my favorite thing is to watch them get in there and play around. Ducks are like kids, and they love, love, love to splash and play. And when they splash, it just gets all the flowers wet anyway, so it's really dual purpose. And when the water is fresh, they swim and splash around the most. When water gets dirty, they actually don't go in there as much, which was interesting to find out. But these little baby ducks are super sweet, and we've had them since they were little. And we just love them, and we're excited to be their caretakers forever. So with that, we'll finish our video. Again, this is Christina with In the Garden. This is Scout. And we hope you like our chicken coop, and we'll see you in the next video.
This is our progress update. Got the roof on, minus 1 sheet. Had to go pick up some more this morning. Got the doors on. It's gonna be our storage side. Gotta finish out the nesting boxes. Windows in yesterday. And gotta finish the door, the chicken door.
Watch, they'll jump out. They'll jump out, run around, and then jump back in. Milo does it a lot. No, Asher. We get the duck zoomies.